by, I feel like. And Friday definitely, I think, embodies that. So we have the Ten of Pentacles in reverse, the Prince of Wands, and the Prince of Disc. Um, and I titled this Leaving the Nest with a question mark because there is this, I guess, like excitement, but nervousness and anxiety that can happen, but also bliss when you're leaving your mom's home or your father's mom and father's home or place that was once so familiar to you. It can be very scary because the world is unknown. Like, of course, most of us at that point are like, I can do it. I believe in myself, but it's still so much uncertainty. And this is, even though I know all of us who watch this channel, not all of us, I'm sure I don't have any teenagers here, but even those of us who, are older, and even if we still live with our parents or whatever the case may be, I would say maybe 90% of us, if not 95% of us, have lived away from our home with our mother, whether we went back and whatever the case is, most of us have shared that initial time of leaving, and we pretty much know how it feels. So it's interesting that that's coming up today. Maybe it's something that you really have to leave or push forward with, and it breaks out of what your normal is. So anyway, let's get into the reading. We have the Ten of Pentacles in reverse, and this shows that we have to take another look at what long term looks like and feels like. The way that things used to be done aren't necessarily the same. We know this, you all, in dating and seeing how relationships, I won't say they were easier back in the day, but to me, they were easier. You didn't have all these other distractions like cell phones and electronics. Jahan, I miss you. I always think of Jahan. But anyway, sorry, you all, I'm in the comments. But that Ten of Pentacles in reverse, oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. I'm so bad. Mercury retrograde. Anyway, the Ten of Pentacles, I was talking about how like how much more difficult it is, in my opinion, to keep a home together, like a household or a family or a marriage or even friendships. It's so much room for your what used to be secrets to be exposed. I mean, can you imagine how it was before cell phones were even out? How much more connection there was, and it's not to say cell phones are a bad thing, but you can find a new girlfriend at your fingertips. You can be tempted. Like, the internet is what you make it, obviously, but it just puts so much. It's just so much easier to do things that can go against what is the right thing to do. And so the Ten of Pentacles in reverse is saying, but it still doesn't mean that we can't have long-term family, right? And commitment, and feel that being with someone a long time. It just needs to be revised this day because it's not super old school or what used to be. Now, the Ten of Pentacles also, from a business standpoint, it's not the time to, I'm just going to go ahead and buy the yacht and do it. Or I'm going to, I'll buy that new Tesla. Or if you have to buy a car, but or anything, right? But the Ten of Pentacles is where we don't want to be pouring out so much money, because it's really just getting, the fall is all about gathering what you've worked for and kind of tidying up for the winter so that you can still, push forward with your work, but it's just not so much pressure on you during the hibernation. We don't get to hibernate, but you know what I mean. Now, yeah, so, and the Ten of Pentacles in reverse can bring up some family issues or family conversations. They could be reaching out to you more. You could be finding yourself around family. And that's totally fine. I would say that with these nights, though, look at how, like, he's charging in. I'm sorry, it won't focus. How he's charging in right behind him. Like he's get like I like this because I feel like there's some type of offering that's coming towards you. But I also feel like this Prince of Disc is not paying attention to the Knight of Wands right behind him. And sorry, you guys, the Knights already have a habit of going over the top, going in full throttle. Now, I like that the Knight of Wands brings that spontaneous, happy, jovial fire. But the Prince of Disc brings that slow, practical, taking my time. So maybe somebody is rushing you to do something, or maybe you feel rushed, but there's some type of energy that's opposite from one another that you're going to feel today. It doesn't mean today is a bad day. I actually think today is pretty cool, but it just means don't be extreme. If somebody says something, you don't have to have the dramatic response today. It's more of just, yeah, using this energy to your advantage, but also let it be something you've been doing or like you've already worked on. You could maybe what's passion to us can be aggression to someone else, and I think that they have a very real perspective by feeling that way. And I feel that you also at that point have to look at yourself and say, okay, am I being too passionate and pushing my opinions or the way that I am on someone and rubbing someone the wrong way? Or is it just it reminds me of like Maya Angelou. Is it still our rise when she's like, does my sexiness offend you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I got diamonds in between my thighs? Or something like that. But it's like that confidence. Like, now I can't, it's not my fault if my confidence offends you, as long as I'm not being overly arrogant or obnoxious with it. But you get my point. We know the difference at this point, at this time in our life, from being confident and driven in who we are and what we want to go after, and just completely being an a-hole, and just thinking that the world revolves around us or our way is the only way. So, man, something that was once traditional is being changed. It actually makes me think of something that happened in my daughter's school. Yesterday, they had some students write some horrible racial slurs on the walls, and I won't say what they said, but and it really the school took a very aggressive approach from what the email said, and a lot of parents thought that, not a lot of parents, but I guess some parents were felt like the approach of calling the police and getting charges pressed and things like that, was a little bit too much for a high schooler. Me personally, I don't like, how much balls do you have to, like, how, like, who do you have to be to, like, it's already enough that as people we have our little fucked up thoughts, and nobody's perfect, and people can act like I've never thought anything wrong about anybody. Stop. Okay, but it takes it to a whole nother level when you are just literally painting it on the walls, and it's actually pretty sad. But you know, I don't raise my children to be like that. So, some people thought it was a little bit too much of an aggressive approach, but no, that needs to be on that person's record. If a job hires them, high school, middle, college, hey, you don't do things like that. So, it's different from, stealing a piece of candy and completely being racist. So, you know, things are changing. It's not the, Ten of Pentacles in reverse. It's not getting a slap on the wrist, but a slap on the ass, you know? And so we have to just, it's a great day to kind of re edit and revise finances and what your long term looks like. You don't have to get too caught up in it, though. It's really not that day. It's more of the day to shift, change. Okay, if it hasn't been working, I'm not going to bog myself down. Um, and I'm just going to move forward. So I hope that everybody has a good day. If you like these videos, please hit the like button. I really appreciate it. It helps the channel grow. And as always, I'll talk to you tomorrow.